Welcome to our next episode of Treasure Chest. I'm glad to be here next to my special guest today, Arno. Today's topic is distributed order management system. And yeah, we're proud to have you on board, Arno. Um, Make a short introduction of yourself.
Thank you for having me, Björn. My name is Arno. I'm a lead product owner at Fulfillment Tools, and since the beginnings of Fulfillment Tools. And my background is logistics. I studied logistics, and after that, I worked at a e-grocery project, and we built up a big automated warehouse system. And happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. And to add some points, I think really Arno is our real expert for especially our today's topic, distributed order management system, with all about that, the challenges, etc. But first of all, I think we have to give our audience a short introduction in the topic. OMS. What is a OMS and what is especially a traditional OMS? Because we as a company say we are providing a next-gen OMS. So, Arno, when you would describe a traditional OMS, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think a traditional OMS is more a system with a more general approach. I think it's around the whole order, but it also includes topics like payment, communication to the customer, and it's less complex because in the old world, let's say it like this, the classic approach is that you have a shop and you have one or two warehouses. That's it. And the stores, for example, if you have one, they are separate. So the OMS is more general approach, but it's not built up for an omni-channel world, which we are facing now currently.
Okay, so what you would say is it's about a clear separation between offline and online, a more linear setup
Yes.
with one or two warehouses who deliver to the customers for online business, etc. And it's more about handling the order life cycle and really focus on the order and giving an order the status updates, etc., to the customers and to the retailer itself.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we now would say, okay, we as fulfillment tools tell our customers, to the audience, to the outside world, we are a next-gen OMS. What is the difference? And why next-gen?
I think in the today's world, the companies don't have like this big ERP systems anymore. So I think due to the architectural designs we have now, API first, or the whole Mach situation, it's easier to get more specialized systems. So you have a specialized system for communication to the customer. You have specialized warehouse management systems. And this enables us to also specialize in the OMS world. And that is where our next-gen OMS comes in, because we want to handle this bigger networks we are facing now in the world. So it's not just one channel where the order's coming in, it's multiple channels we have to handle. It's the web shop, it's social media, it's apps. So we have different sales channels, marketplaces, yada yada. And all those channels do now not just being routed in a warehouse where the fulfillment is taking place, but we also have multiple locations where we can fulfill the order. And this complexity, especially when you realize that the locations can support each other, that is, I think, the complexity we want to handle. And therefore also, we come to this later, the distributing part in our OMS system is key.
Yeah, to add some points, what we are discussing all the time since the beginning onwards, the separation of on and offline is broken down. So it's a network. It's working together, etc. The customers expect one view to themselves. They want to have one facing retailer. And to fit to all the situations, it doesn't matter if you buy online or offline, etc. You expect the same quality, the same performance, etc. No, it's multi-channel. No, what we see currently is you can order online in the web shop, you can order at a marketplace, you can go into the stores and shop offline, or you shop in social media channels, no? Like Instagram, etc. So it's really getting complex. And when you know at all facility types, no, warehouses, stores, dropshipper, etc., it's really complex. No? And don't forget the supply chain channels. No? If a product isn't available in a store, etc., you can make the replenishment process, no, to get it in nearly 1 or 2 days, etc. It makes all the setup really, really complex, and expectations of customers are rising. Speed, quality, ecological reasons, etc. That's really a mess, no, what customers expect. But when you would describe next-gen OMS, and no, you describe the traditional OMS, it's more about order life cycle, it's about order processing, pricing, promotions, payment, etc. What does the next-gen OMS focusing in?
Yeah, maybe we take a step back because how we view the world. For us, every brick and mortar store, every small warehouse, dark store, or even the big warehouses, 3PLs, or even suppliers, those is for us it's resources. Yeah, there is inventory, there is workforce, and there is storage places. And if you see those different factors and then think, okay, it's not just the warehouse who has to handle all the fulfillment. All the other resources we have, when we combine them, can support each other. So the facility or the location does not have to fight on its own. And when you view on the network like this, then you become thinking, okay, when we combine all those resources together, can we get a benefit from it? And this is actually then what we will face in our system, because our idea is that we want to combine all those resources, bring them together to make a logistic network, and handle all those resources efficiently, and then decide, okay, when you are ordering from your social media, from your whatever, we want to decide what is the best place to fulfill the order, and this place is an option. It must not be just one location. It could be 3, 4, 5 locations, and this is the complexity we want to handle. And I think key, it's not just about the routing, it's also about the inventory visibility, because all the locations, the inventory must be visible in order to access them. And this is, I think, the foundation where we can build up a next-gen OMS.
Okay, so you made or give me some insight. So inventory visibility is a need, is a must-have, real time. I would say inventory visibility to make this orchestration in a perfect manner. What other steps in fulfillment are needed for next-gen OMS to fulfill these expectations and really to bring up these benefits in costs, in speed, in performance, whatever? Now, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think if we look at the order journey, you need to have like a very potent algorithm who can decide what is the best place for fulfillment. And then you also have to enable those locations to fulfill the order actually. So it's not just about the routing and about the transparency of all those sources. It's also about enabling the locations to fulfill the order. Normally a warehouse does not need to have an extra enabler. There's a warehouse management system in it, or a 3PL, for example, they are managing their facilities on their own. But if you also would include the brick and mortar stores, for example, in your logistic network, then there's normally no software, like a picking software, which can be integrated in those systems easily. So therefore also the picking, the actually fulfillment, the requesting of the labels is key in our software.
Yeah, fully agree. No? And it's not done by a POS, a traditional POS, a classical POS. So they need more functionality, new functionality to bring this new setup alive and really to make it happen. But what's with topics a traditional OMS has handled, like promotions, like payment, etc.? Is it still part of a next-gen OMS, or is it more like, okay, it's part of the process, but what you mentioned before, I would describe it as a best-of-breed approach, etc.
Yes.
Is it that a next-gen OMS does not handle it by its own, but it can operate with other systems in an easy way, to make it happen, and perhaps to make it happen in a better way than on a traditional base.
I think this phrase "best of breed" is perfectly describing the situation, because our approach is we want to be expert in one thing, and this one thing in our next gen OMS is not the pricing, the promotions, or the execution of the payments. There are different specialized softwares in place, and we believe that a software should be focusing on one topic, and those big tanks, I would say, of software. We don't call them, but you know who I'm talking about. I think this is something from the old world. Today, you want to have experts in your different domains, and our next gen OMS is then excluding all those topics around payment, around promotions or communications. There we have specialized systems, and due to our API first approach, the connection between those systems is way easier to handle and to integrate than it was 5 years before or 10 years before.
But I need is modern IT technology, no?
Yes,
So
yeah.
really IT setup. No? You mentioned beforehand Mach approach. No? Mach is for microservices, API first, cloud native, headless, etc. Really to bring this connection, this interplay between these different specialists, expert systems, etc. To a perfect setup at the end. Was it our idea at the beginning of fulfillment tools to build up a next-gen OMS?
I think we were getting there. I think the topics were clear, the topics we want to handle, but you might remember all the discussion we had, which topic we want to face and to become expert in. And I think with the time, it became more and more clear where the focus is. And the focus is the inventory visibility, the connection of the resources, and the distribution algorithm behind it. And I like the discussions, but I think it's good that we decided this way, because otherwise we would, fight with so many competitors, and where you can just say, okay, we need to be like a huge company in order to tackle all these things, with the knowledge that you won't be the best in your actually place.
Yeah, I think the need was clear, the packages were clear, but then it was a learning effect. No? So we learned about the complexity, about the details of different industries, etc., the requirements. And I don't know when, no? But to one point, we realized this power of orchestration and how to fulfill it, no? And how to work on ideas and concepts and in realizations of handling this power, no? And to improve this orchestration. I think that was our proof point, no? That we think, we can make it happen. We don't see any other competitor in a global world who makes it like we, and we are the perfect fit for all these retailers who have this requirement, these challenges, etc.
But that's actually a funny thing, because if you are thinking about combining those resources, you as a C-level executive, you have actually two goals. It's saving costs or increasing revenue with better services, better customer experience whatsoever. And I think all our thoughts are or can be broken down to these two big topics. And that is actually then the thing where we were realizing, okay, every customer is different. We talked with a lot of customers and with a lot of industries, and we see that every area has their own challenges. We are looking at DIY. I think transport costs are super important. We are looking at e-food. The perishable items are super important to handle, like flowers or groceries, something like this. Then you look at the fashion industry. In the fashion industry, you have the seasonal peaks. You have the short, the short areas where articles can be sold, this end of life cycle items. And I think when you look at all these industry, you come to the conclusion, okay, we need to build something where the customer can set the business goal, and we have to find the best solution for your fulfillment, looking at this business goal. And I think that is the interesting part when we were developing our routing algorithm.
I would say it wasn't done in day one, but in day two that we said, okay, we need a generic solution that the customer has a possibility to configure its own processes, etc. Because every industry differs, has its focus topics, etc. I know when luxury, our first luxury customer, when we thought, okay, new topic, services, it is about quality, it's about experience, customer experience, etc. And we said, okay, cool. Good point that we have done it in a generic way because we can make it happen. That the retailer itself, his staff, etc., but also the customers love the possibilities they now have with our solution.
Yeah.
Let's make a deep dive because our topic is distributed order management system. And you mentioned a lot of topics, complexities, the challenges with this, but why is there, or you described the need of, but what is the pressure on a distributed order management system? Because there's a power, but what is the power? What are the challenges? And why is it needed? Why is it so special?
I think the most complexity lies in the logistics network. I mentioned before that we want to combine all the resources. When you combine all those resources, you bring up a network where you can find billions of possibilities to fulfill an order. And now you have to decide, okay, what is the best fulfillment option for this specific order? And your order might differ from my order, yeah? And it's not because you buy more stuff than I do, for example, but maybe you are a customer living in another area of the world, maybe. And I think this is something we have to handle, that within those billions options, you find a good or the best solution within a reasonable time. And therefore, we need smart algorithms. And when we are looking back, we constructed a very similar solution our competitor do have now. The classic approach in this order distribution is that you set up different rules, and then you say, okay, rule number 1 is the most important, rule number 2 is the second most important. And then you route for the most important rating or objective. And then you have to decide, okay, can I loosen this objective? Or you have to decide, okay, we do have multiple options for this objective. Then we can go on and go to the next second most important objective. And then we have this decision tree you are going through. And then you have this very limited options, or you view just on limited options. I think it's easy to understand, it's easy to set up, but you just look at a fraction of the possible solution room, and that is a problem. And that is something we wanted to tackle, and therefore we turned our back to this approach and decided to view it as a multi-objective optimization problem.
Okay. To give it in another picture, when you ask people what's more important for you, this one, or that one, and they answer with everything. Yes. Everything is the same. Give me the best solution, and we try to handle that issue. And what you're talking about were, okay, what are the influencing factors for such an orchestration level? It's the one hand, it's facilities and inventory availability, but it has to do with capacity, with workforce capacity, last mile capacity, delivery times from each provider. So if you work with your national key poster carrier, you have a delivery time, a standard delivery time, but you have different types of delivery partners, like the last mile, the same day delivery partners, etc. They are more expensive, but much more have a better speed in the delivery times, etc. And you can make it happen on all levels. And that is really the complexity in it, to bring all those factors together and find the best solution.
Yeah.
And it could mean that for this customer, for you as a customer, for example, we deliver from the store next to your home. For me, because other parts are more important, they split the order and I get the most important parts of a warehouse in my region, but the other parts from a completely different store far away,
Yeah.
but in a completeness. So that's really the complexity.
And that's from a mathematical standpoint. This is actually the problem, I would say, or the challenge, because if you decide it's not just one connection between facility A to facility B, it's, as you said, multiple carrier options with multiple carrier products, with different pricings, different lead times, different transfer times. And if you want to bring all those information together, then you have like an exponential options. It's becoming into billions and billions, something we cannot handle with a normal computer.
Internally, we often talk about combinatorics because it's really a mass of factors we have to bring together and find the best solution for that, and in a limitation of time.
Yeah.
That's also a really big challenge, because we do not have hours to find the best solution, neither minutes. We have neither seconds. We talk about milliseconds.
And that's actually why it's milliseconds. I think the routing itself might take a second. It's not the problem. But you want to inform the customer in the checkout that what is going to happen. And in order to do this, you have to be on speed. Yeah? You have to be on drugs to get there.
Yeah.
And therefore, we need to have very optimized algorithms, smart algorithms that we can handle this complexity.
I think we know it all. No? When we are shopping, when we shop online, we do not have time. No, we do not expect waiting for answers of the shopping system for seconds, etc. When we have it, we stop it, and customers are off. That's a real big challenge. And what's the next challenge? We want to give offers. The customer should be able to decide at the end which options he wants to choose. And that's also a challenge, to give it in a really smart way and with limited time.
Yeah, and therefore we do have our shop-facing endpoints, how we call them, because during this shopping from the customer, then we are in the background, we are calculating what are the options and then present it to the consumer.
The normal retailer does not have one routing strategy. How do we handle that?
That's a good question, because especially when we are looking in a globalized world and there are different markets, you have to set up different routing rules for a specific case. For example, in Germany, there's another case, or let's say it in Luxembourg, for example, the topic of geodistance is not that critical as if you are in the USA, for example. So a customer in Luxembourg should be optimized on another rule set than the USA customer would be optimized for. And this is also, again, something you can expand to a very high complexity. And I think, therefore, it was super important that we decide, okay, when we get an order, we or the customer, our customer, can decide, okay, what are the criterias to identify this order in order to give this order a specific routing strategy. And this routing strategies might completely be different between a Luxembourg customer, for example, as the USA customer. Yeah.
And I would say lots of our retailers know it, who work together with Amazon, for example.
Yep.
They have special SLA agreements they have to fulfill. And it could mean that an Amazon order should be routed in a different way than an order from their own web shop, etc. So there are a lot of factors could mean or could depend an own routing strategy. And it could be the sales channel, it could be the country, it could be listing informations. No? So products, and we know it from DIY, some products you can't deliver via normal standard carrier. You need two-man handling, etc. Or we have it in our luxury business, services are needed. No, a ring must be graved, or some other parts must be prepared for the customer, etc. So the factors are multi-complex, and you have to react on that.
Maybe a nice example from the luxury sector. VIP customers, someone who's spending millions of dollars on your company, on items, maybe this customer, when he's ordering or she's ordering, the topic of delivery cost shouldn't be that big of an issue. If you are like a retailer who's selling small margin goods, then it's a completely other topic. And so also the check, what is the basket, what the basket is looking like. This is also a crucial part in our decision making here.
Yeah. Let's go to the last part of our today's session, learnings. So now I would say we are now experts, but we have made a journey, also a journey of learnings. What would you say, what were the most common learnings in your career here at Fulfillment Tools?
So learnings coming from having pain, I think. And I think the biggest pain is that to realize that you have to be focusing on flexibility. You cannot see the upcoming business goals in the future. So the world is changing rapidly and you don't know what is the requirement of the next customer. So if you're not focusing on developing a flexible product, you cannot succeed in the market. So I think, therefore, the flexibility is key. And this is, I think, the biggest learning what we achieved here.
We had a lot of experience by our mother group in the e-food business, etc. And then the first time when we had to do with other industries, we saw, okay, other challenges, it's getting complex. But the positive factor was, okay, there are synergies. When we have a generic approach. And that was really, I would say, to one hand, it was luck. To the other hand, it was, a good concept phase that we had it in our mind that we have to become more generic because our IPC group is complex and we want to fulfill it for different industries in a global world, etc. But you said it, no? Changes are made rapidly. No? Currently, we see the world is changing, etc. Fancy, yeah. And the technical challenges, no? All about that. Modern, state-of-the-art setup, etc. It's always challenging. No? We see it now with AI, etc. No? Coming up, rising up, etc. It brings us new opportunities, but also new challenges, etc. What were the learnings in the interaction with our customers, so the retailers at the end? What did we make as a journey there?
I think with every customer we have, or every communication or interviews we have with our customer, we learned a lot because just with direct customer feedback, we were able to understand what is the actual problem, and only if you're able to understand the problem. Sometimes our customers cannot describe the problem. They can just show us the problem itself, but they cannot describe it. And I think if you are, the key is to understand what is the problem, to be able to create a generic solution for this. And I'm actually convinced that if we are solving a problem for one customer, another customer who is not having this problem yet will benefit from this solution. Maybe not today, but later on.
Yeah, got it. No, so also rethinking the standards again and again, and really to work in a partnership matter with the customers, to realize, okay, what are the issues and not what are the spoken issues. Also, what is the process behind and what could be challenges in the future could improve our solution for them too. Let's end this session with a short view into the future. Let's say we have 2026 plus. What will be the most influencing factors for solutions like ours? And how could they bring benefits to our retailers at the end?
I don't like this buzzwording topic, but it's
AI?
Bitcoin, yeah, it's Bitcoin. No, yeah, obviously it's AI, or let's say smart algorithms. Yeah, currently we are dealing with self-learning algorithms in order to handle this complexity. But at the end, AI it is, yeah, because if you are like want to optimize something mathematically, which is logic, you can just benefit from AI. And I think it's not just within our routing decision, but it's also in our interaction with our software. So maybe an AI can help to set up use cases, to set up the routing configuration, or also in generally, I think. But this is maybe not just on OMS side. It's I think a general thinking that how do you want to interact with your software? Is it always you have this front end where you just click things? Or is it you are interacting, you are speaking with your software, and the software can provide you with data, with analytics, and I think there's like a lot of things we can explore in the future.
Yeah, and we did, no? So especially in our routing algorithms, no? The experience we made with the first AI steps, no? Machine learning steps, etc. The benefits were huge. No? It was really incredible what we saw, what is possible now to handle this complex and there's billions of opportunities, etc. Yeah, great. And we see there will be much more in the future, and we do not see the end also in the development of AI, etc. Gen AI has also an impact on us. So yeah, there will be. I think AI will be also the speedboat also for our business, and it's fun to work with this. Next to all this buzzword handling, there is power, and we can take it.
Yeah, I think it will be exciting in this area to compete.
Arno, thank you very much to having you on our coach here, and see you next time in our next episode of Treasure Chest. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.